Good afternoon, good evening, beautiful ones. So good to be here. Just checking everything is working as it should. How are y'all doing? I am just checking this is all doing what it should be doing. There we go. So, I thought I would do a little update on where we are at with this shift in focus around our service. And really, if you know the Institute, you know that this is simply an expansion or a continuation of the work that we have always been doing. But I have been, since the beginning of the year, reimagining the Institute's offers and thinking about what really matters, really feeling it. The initial invitation from God, from that intuitive intelligence of my higher self, was to pause, which I did. And out of that pause has come this renewal or reinvigoration of the focus of the service of the Institute. And what it really comes down to is, the way we train intuition is I am not going to answer your questions. I'm not just going to take your money to be your intuitive reader and give you information. I empower you to be your own oracle. And I love this focus. It is the essence of everything that we do and are. And yet there is another layer now. And for me, that is in the recognition that I can support people to become their own oracle. But even bigger than that, I can support others to lead their communities to become their own oracle. And why does this matter? Why is it the focus? And how are we doing it? Well, for me, it is all about taking this revolutionary approach to intuition development further and wider beyond even the idea of training practitioners, empowering you as a certified intuition teacher so that you can take this revolutionary approach to intuition development to your communities. And so we are very excited to be in pre-launch for Achārya. And Acharya is a Sanskrit word for teacher. It is not about simply being a teacher of your wisdom, but being the embodiment. And Acharya is someone who embodies what they offer. And that's why it felt like the perfect name for our reborn certified intuition teacher qualification. So yes, we have always had this program, but previously it was only available to graduates of the method or the third level, our practitioner training. And now we are throwing the doors wide open because I want this wisdom in as many hands and hearts and minds as is possible. And so in the pause, when I took away any program offers, where I came to was this recognition, this realization that we needed to go bigger. We needed to increase the power that others have to embolden their communities. And so Acharya, our certified intuition teacher program, will be commencing in late September. But I have so much beautiful content for you before then. We have 4 masterclasses coming up beginning at the end of this month, which will embolden you as a spiritual teacher. Whether this is something you already do or something that you want to bring into your service, these 4 masterclasses, Teach with Power, will take you through everything from finding your teacher archetype to how you design life-changing curriculum, thinking about the pedagogy, thinking about the teaching and learning experience, because it is not just about the content. It is about creating transformational learning experiences. And that happens on many, many different levels. So these 4 masterclasses are an opportunity for you to get some of my most exciting content. And I do really adore the archetype of the spiritual teacher. It is definitely my central archetype. And it is something I know a little about. It is so dear to my heart that those who have wisdom to share feel ready to do it, but not only that, that they have the formula for making the learning experience for their students truly transformational. There's so many aspects to this, and I think a big part of it is the self-confidence to identify as a teacher. And especially for women, this comes down to so often your relationship to power and your willingness to be seen as a leader. And this is not necessarily an easy decision to make. And so often I see women hide their wisdom in, I guess, less threatening archetypes, not archetypes that are any less valuable. But sometimes I feel like we're veiling our power to try to stay under the radar a little bit, and that will not fly with me. I want you to feel safe to make that bold leap into the teacher archetype if it calls you. The other part of this is our reborn postgraduate program, High Priestess, and I'm currently doing the interviews for that. This is a graduate program. Next year will be a different story. Stay tuned for that. But this is our year-long program to embolden the temple builders, those who feel drawn to create community from their own work. And I really want you to feel again that safety to step into that leadership. And so High Priestess is that invitation into a sacred feminine leadership model and all of the conditions you need to feel safe to birth your methods and methodology to gather community. Temple means soul gathering. And so this is really understanding that the antidote to the suffering of the separation that we see in the world, this betrayal of the first law, all is one, is created by people willing to build community that is deep, that is rich, that is aligned with their heart's truest desire. And so High Priestess is interviewing now. I am so blown away by the women who've already heard the call and boldly leapt into this container. We will spend a year together beginning in September, including having 8 days together in South India, in Pondicherry. And it really is the jewel in the crown of the Institute. We feel so honored to serve those who identify as leaders. And we call upon the archetype of the High Priestess because that archetype is the most aligned to the idea of the sacred leader, the temple builder. We are very close to being full for that program. I have a few more interviews left, and it is, as I say, looking like a truly astonishing group of women, which does not surprise me because it seems that that is the caliber of person that we attract. And these women are leaders in their own right and really are humble enough to come into this program to embolden their vision and reach more hearts and minds. I've been sharing lately in the wake of the continuing upheaval of the systems of power, which is something that I welcome. This chaos is going to bring a new and higher order, that we must be unafraid to lead. Those of us who have the privilege and the freedom to not sit in our shadow archetype of the student and say, I'm not ready, I need more, I don't feel good enough about myself, who am I? To step into this leadership role, either as teacher or temple builder. And what I say to my students is always the same. Who are you not to? Who are you to ignore the vision that God has planted in your heart? And who are you to say no to that? What keeps me aligned on this path of service is to know that I work for God. I am God's hands and feet in the world. And that is not a religious idea of God, but rather my highest self, and trusting my intuition, even on the days where I might feel doubt and wonder if it's going to work and am I good enough. And I have those days. But I know that the antidote is action. It is showing up. It is leading others from darkness to light. And I have the privilege and freedom to be able to do that in a world where so many are losing or have never had that privilege and freedom. Who am I to sit in my low self-worth, my fear, my doubt? I use that as fuel to embolden my fire. And so High Priestess is this time a graduate program, which means you need to have completed the method or the third level. But next year it will be coming back as a open graduate program. So anyone who is excited about really being the leader of a movement and building their own temple and finding their voice to inspire others. So, Achārya is coming in September. That is what I really want you to know about. And we're giving you a taste of what to expect in the Teach with Power Masterclass Series. There are 4 incredible masterclasses, plus you'll get a bonus How to Be an Exceptional Spiritual Teacher masterclass. So, there's so much content in this. And I'm going to share the details of how you can join. There are 4 sessions. You can join 1 or all 4, but each one of them will bring wisdom to give you the specific skills and tools to elevate your teacher archetype. You know, teaching, when we're called to it, is something that we cannot ignore. But to feel like you can support your students to take those bold leaps in their own awakening journey requires you to have an understanding of both the energetics, the practical, the curriculum, the pedagogy. All of these component parts come together to make you elevated above the noise and to really be able to create transformation in the hearts and minds of those that you have the privilege to serve. I am so excited about Achārya. We do have a waitlist already. Enrollments will be opening in July. But until then, as I said, the Masterclass series is available. And if you don't know me, you don't know my work, that is a wonderful way for you to try before you buy, if you like, to get a sense of who I am, whether I am the right teacher for you. And if you do know me, you will know that I give away my best content. I love teaching teachers how to be in their power, and there is so much in these masterclasses that will give you what you need to feel that boldness, that faith, and that skill to elevate whatever program you are offering. Achārya is also quite unique in that not only are you learning how to be an exceptional teacher, how to overcome your limitations and fears around it, you're also being given amazing program design. But perhaps most exciting of all is your investment gives you the intellectual property rights to use the content of that book back there, Spiritually Fierce, in your own service. So many of the graduates previously have woven their particular spiritual teachings into the classical spiritual wisdom that Spiritually Fierce offers to support others to increase access to their own highest self, their own intuitive knowing. I am so excited with where the Institute is going to support those who are leading their own temples, who are building their own communities, who are empowering in that one-to-many way. And that is what we need. We need to spread this like wildfire. I will be sharing more. I just wanted to pop in and say hello from very cold Melbourne, particularly cold at the moment because my heater decided to pack it in, so I'm hoping very much that that will be fixed. We are, dealing with it graciously, but that is definitely something that is making me even more excited about the time when I get to head on out and live in a warmer climate, which is the 5-year plan. I am doing some more research, obviously, between now and then. I was initially considering Bali, and I love Bali, and I still go to Bali regularly. But if you've been there lately, you might feel as I do that it is a little overcrowded. And the parts of Bali that I love to be in because they're not so busy are really far away from the airport. And, it's a difficult place to get around. So my partner and I were in Vietnam last year, and we are feeling particularly in love with Vietnam. Da Nang in particular is a really amazing coastal city, very, very cost-effective, great infrastructure, amazing internet, all things that Bali does not have. And that is definitely top of the list right now. He is also a very big fan of Thailand, where I have not spent any time outside of Bangkok. So that might be the next one that we try. If you have any tips, thoughts, ideas, please let me know. We've got time, but it is exciting to think about it, especially on these very cold Melbourne winter mornings. that is my update. I am going to leave you now. I want to say thank you so much for being here, for being part of this community. I will share the links that I mentioned, and please know if you have any questions about Achārya, please reach out, or the Teach with Power Masterclass Series, which is going to be amazing and really give you so much to embolden your teacher archetype. Have the most glorious day, and I will see you very soon.